Before we start about this, I'm going to say this out loud. I'm a big Budweiser fan. When I drank, I liked my Budweiser, okay?
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here. Let's talk about the latest on this Bud Light nonsense. Bud Light down, Coors Light up. I went to a bunch of bars this weekend doing some research for you guys, and I learned that across the board, Bud Light is suffering, and a lot of places are taking it off tap, and they are getting ready to stop ordering it. Now, I don't know if that's going to continue, but it might. If it does continue, this will be a great moment for conservatives to stand up and say, look, we're not going to take this anymore. And you know what? It's about time that maybe conservatives do that, because I myself am guilty of doing what most people have done as conservatives and talk show hosts and things like that, and saying, I don't like boycotts, I just buy what I like and all this other stuff. And you get run over when you do that. So maybe it's nice that we are maybe standing up in this way. Now, a lot is being said about this, some very stupid, some just kind of stupid. Now, let's start with the very stupid. How about the ladies on The View? Lots of stupid things to say about a lot of things when you're watching The View.
So I have a lot of feeling about this. Bud Light's ad campaign with trans influencer Dylan McDermott. Mulvaney, sorry.
Now you're breaking
ignited.
We have breaking news.
That's right. Ignited an angry conservative backlash and a boycott that included online trends of people posting videos destroying cases of Bud Light in various stupid ways. The company puts out a statement saying they didn't mean to address an issue that divided people. But I want to know, what are you so angry about? Beer does not have a, I mean, it's not a Democrat or a Republican. Yeah. It doesn't have a belief system. It's just beer.
Well, and the thing is, it's like, I think that these people that were destroying their own beer, which is also kind of dumb.
Well, thanks for the money.
Yeah, right? They also are making this out to be a trans. This is a transphobic issue, right? We know that this country is highly transphobic. It's
also, listen, if it's an American beer, transgender people are American too. LGBTQ people are American too.
So weird.
They have, you know, and the LGBT community has close to 1.4 trillion spending power, and some of it they spend on Bud Light.
Yeah.
So, you know,
hello.
But you know what I mean, look, this is part of a bigger campaign. Republicans are using all LGBTQ issue, whether it's transgender, whether it's...
Nope, they don't.
They are using all, you know, this paranoia, this fear, building this stress, building this idea that your kids are going to turn into whatever if they see, you know, an influencer posting, if they see a drag queen.
I didn't have as many followers as the other people.
It was genuinely a smart move by Bud Light. They need to make inroads with the LGBTQ community, who, I'm sorry, tends to like craft beer and skinny cocktails. Not Bud Light. So it's like they're reaching a community that's probably not drinking enough Bud Light, and she's a great person to go through.
It was to congratulate her for a milestone of a year being more authentic to herself, and I thought that said a lot about the PR for Budweiser, but don't dial it back now, because you're going to lose everyone.
But they did start dialing it back because they unleashed the Clydesdale horses.
That's right,
now all of a sudden they got this trans, like, you know, this...
No, the horse is not trans.
No. I'm saying all of a sudden they get this what am I thinking?
The Clydesdale horses galloping.
I'm thinking they're getting this backlash.
Yeah.
And their response.
So they harnessed it in.
Let's get the horses out.
That's
I was like, because the horses are so much more American than trans people.
Listen, all I can tell you is I'm old enough to remember when these Republican hypocrites were against cancel culture.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Listen, Budweiser, we're all Americans here. We appreciate your beer, whether it's light or the regular beer. You have every right, and we have every right to buy it if we like it. Don't let them scare you.
Right. Yeah.
Let us scare you.
But of course, they were not the only ones. All you have to do is look at a group of California Congress people. All Democrats, all terrible, awful, no good human beings. This will probably hurt Bud Light's sales more than anything else, seeing them all sitting here enjoying a nice Bud Light. Sure, I'm sure they drink Bud Lights all the time, and I'm sure they're going to continue after this. This is the biggest problem with this whole thing. Dylan Mulvaney never drank Bud Light, and her trans supporters are never going to drink Bud Light either. But they tried to sell it, ended up costing themselves a lot of money because people who do drink Bud Light are not down with this in any way, shape, or form. But of course, they are not the only one.
What does it matter? I don't really get it.
Yeah, listen, I think people are upset because Bud Light has been around since the 1980s. This is a very all-American brand. Some people see it as something that just...
Mulvaney's not an American? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely all-American in the sense
What
of...
is Mulvaney saying on this?
She has not addressed it specifically, but on the Rosie O'Donnell podcast, she says that she thinks the controversy is because people misunderstand her. She's also newly transitioned, just about a year, and she feels like people aren't really understanding who she is, what she stands for. The video, as you showed, was just a fun time with Bud Light, but some people taking it a little hard.
And as dumb as all of this is, and don't worry, it is very dumb, it's even dumber for some conservatives to still be on board with saying things like, no, we shouldn't boycott because they give us a lot of money. That is just absolutely embarrassing. And Donald Trump Jr. said just that. And yeah, it's pretty sad. If you're looking for a way to actually handle this, is to say, sure, I've taken your money in the past, but I'm done with you now. And that's exactly what Ron DeSantis did.
Bud Light, got to get your take on the boycott. So you just brought up Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light's getting hit as hard as I've ever seen it.
Why would you want to drink Bud Light? I mean, like, honestly, that's like them rubbing our faces in it. And it's like these companies that do this, if they never have any response, they're just going to keep doing it. So if you as a consumer are like, yeah, they're basically, and I mean, it's such a fraud with what they're doing with that. Like, yeah, they're doing that, but I'm just going to keep drinking it anyways. Well, then they're just going to keep doing it. So I think we have power as consumers to make our voice heard, and not on every company, because sometimes conservative consumers aren't going to make a dent in some companies. This one is one, if you don't have conservative beer drinkers, you're going to feel that. And so, you know, I think it's a righteous thing. You know, some of these controversies, they come up and people can kind of just say, oh, well, it's kind of a one-off. Yeah, it was stupid to do. But it's part of a larger thing where corporate America is trying to change our country. Trying to change policy, trying to change culture. And, you know, I'd rather be governed by we the people than woke companies. And so I think pushback is in order across the board, including with Bud Light.
Will we ever see you drinking a Bud Light again?
No, I don't think so. You know, I'm trying to think, like, what would I do if I had...
Because there's plenty of photos of you, like the famous COVID one with you drinking the beer, right, with the bikers?
That was a Budweiser.
That was a Budweiser. So they've lost a customer.
Yeah, I think so. But, you know, my wife and I, they don't have it here. If we ever go out to just have a beer, which admittedly we don't have the ability to do that like we used to, you know, we actually like the stout, the Guinness. Yeah, that's what we do. So,
okay,
you know.
Irish.
Yeah.
That's called leadership, guys. It truly is that simple. You can stand up for something, or you can stand up for nothing. And in this particular case, that's the right answer at this particular point in time. So while some inside the conservative movement are telling us to move on, stop worrying about this, Anheuser-Busch ain't that bad, and all this other stuff, there are people who are standing up and saying, no, this is a moment to draw the line. Ron DeSantis is one of those. I'm one of those, and you should be one of those too.